everybody, and welcome to our review of Godzilla vs. Kong, which we have just gotten out of a screening, and you're probably sitting there wondering, who the hell is this guy anyway? Who the hell are you?
Hi, I'm Jesse, and I'm here.
He is. So, anyway, so yes, we've just been to a screening of Godzilla vs. Kong. Thank you very much to Warner Brothers Pictures for having us along. So, this movie is directed by Adam Wingard, and it stars a whole bunch of people, a few people who were left over from Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And basically, we've got a situation where Godzilla has sort of turned against humanity because humanity is doing something that is pissing him off. So he's a bit upset, and so he starts attacking buildings and being a bit of a menace, and so some of the human characters work out that King Kong is basically the key to finding a weapon that will stop him, and that's pretty much all I can really say, because this movie delivered so many great surprises that I was not expecting, and I don't think you were either.
It was, where does one start? Without giving anything away, I would say epic.
Well,
epic is the word.
That's the understatement of the year.
The thing is, okay, with this, if you're looking for the movie to end all movies of the Titan style, this is, like, you summed it up beautifully about the previous movies like Godzilla, King of Monsters, and Skull Island and all. This is up here.
Yeah, so for me personally, like I've found the Monsterverse a little bit hit and miss. Like, I really liked Godzilla. I thought Kong Skull Island's probably been my favorite so far. King of Monsters bored me to tears. I was not a fan of that movie, and so I went into this, with a fairly open mind, fairly low expectations. I like Adam Wingard as a director for the most part. Normally he's delivered like some fairly low budget horror sort of things like You're Next and The Guest, which were brilliant movies. He also did Blair Witch though, which I really, really, really didn't like at all. So I was kind of thinking, like, this is an interesting choice of director going into something so big.
Big challenge.
This guy nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. This is the best of the Monsterverse. So this is the best, like, giant, any sort of creature, robot, whatever sort of movie that I think I've ever seen. Yeah,
the tricky part is that, how do you approach something like this? I mean, it's a daunting task for any director. I mean, you got two of the biggest, Godzilla, King Kong, and then the task of who's going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough one, dude, but brilliant cinematography.
Oh man,
sound effects.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Lighting, just everything. It's all the candy you want.
Exactly. This movie had me literally with my jaw open for so much of it, because it just looked so goddamn good. The entire 2 hours was just bathed in color. The shot choices were absolutely perfect. And not only that, like, one of the main problems with King of the Monsters was that a lot of the action scenes, like the big epic action scenes, were filmed like in the dark or in the rain, and like no one could see what was going on. Every action scene in this film was crystal clear. Like, you could really see what was going on, and it sort of, not just sort of from wide scales, but even the close-up stuff, like, was really easy to see what was going on. I love, one of my favorite things in this film was that they really characterized King Kong. Like, you felt for this creature. I was going to say,
you fall in love with Kong.
That's the thing. I was going to say you felt for this guy, but he's not a guy. He's a monkey.
He's big ass.
He has this relationship with this little deaf girl, which I thought was
played.
Brilliant. Yeah, it was really heartwarming. It just hit all the right beats. The thing with this movie going in, like I was saying to Jesse, was that I wanted it to be a perfect balance of the human stuff, like the human story and the action, and it nailed it. Yeah. Absolutely nailed it, because with King of the Monsters, like, I found it to be quite boring because it was a lot of talk, and the action was fairly lackluster. Yeah. And so, a few people had said, like, oh yeah, give us 2 hours of monsters fighting, but that's, on the flip side, that's going to be boring as well. Whereas this movie, they nailed it. Like, the action scenes were just up there with the best I've ever seen in a movie of that scale, like, ever. I'm talking in my entire life. And
the way they build up to the crescendo of the finale, the climax is is brilliantly done. Like you say, building Kong's character, giving him more of a profile, showing that he's more than just an angry ape. There was that actual emotional, tender side to him that is beautifully portrayed in this film from the beginning. And then the lead up to bringing Godzilla into the sequence was well done as well, right?
Totally. You sort of, at first you are left sort of thinking, well, hang on, why is Godzilla doing all this? They do explain it. Like, everything is explained.
It's well explained.
The science in this film was really easy to follow as well, which I was so grateful for, because, sometimes these movies are really convoluted in technical jargon and everything, whereas this one, it was crystal clear, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, we've got to do a review straight after. I can't really sort of do any research or whatever, so I've got to pay attention. But it was really easy to follow. The only things for me that I would sort of that stopped it from being perfect, it's I can't give any spoilers away, but there's a place that they have to journey to with Kong in order to find this energy source to defeat Godzilla, and I thought there were just some aspects of it, while it looked incredible, it was a little bit far-fetched in places. It's sort of hard to really articulate why, but it was a tough one. It was a tough one.
I mean, taking on something like that was an interesting choice of sequence. What I liked about that particular sequence, without giving anything away, was the accompanying soundtrack that came with it. Was very Blade Runner, kind of just very futuristic sounds, really cool. It just really set the tone right for that sequence.
Totally, yeah.
Was it completely necessary? There's a few question marks that will, inevitably people will find when they watch it. But I won't give anything away about it.
And I guess, some of the characters weren't really that well developed, but it was the sort of thing that they didn't need to be. Like, they were there for a purpose and they served that purpose. And the fates of some of the characters, without giving anything away, I just thought was amazing. There were so many moments in that film where we wanted to just cheer. I could tell you were the same as me.
Yeah, I was giggling a lot.
Yeah. And there were so many moments, and it hasn't happened in so long, where I just turned to Jesse and was like, oh my God, this fucking movie. Like, the whole thing from start to finish, there is not a dull moment. It is easily the best of the Monsterverse thing. It is the best movie I've ever seen of this kind of scale or whatever. And for me personally, I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10 because I goddamn loved it.
Yep. You know what? I was thinking the exact same number, and that's not because of you. I just went straight away. It's definitely a 9. Yeah. Perfect balance of action, perfect balance of characters, soundtrack, well played. Yes, well played indeed. And kudos to Australia for taking such a big role in this.
I know. Like,
so cool.
It was so funny in the end credits, like seeing all these local places from the Gold Coast popping up and everything, which was great.
Man, I was blown away, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, go and see this movie on the biggest screen you possibly can. Yes. Like, I know that things are difficult out there, but especially overseas and everything, with the whole pandemic and whatnot about, but man, because I can't imagine watching this on a small computer monitor or something, because this movie is so goddamn massive in scale and just gorgeous visuals and everything. So if you can, make sure you get out to see this movie on a huge screen, but definitely go see it. Like, I cannot wait to see it again already. So
100%, man.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jesse. Now, you've got a few things in the works if you'd like to, tell people what you got going on.
The old Freak Productions is in the house. Man, my Freakenstein comic book, it's out. It's being well loved, so thank you to everyone that has been reading it and supporting it, especially this guy. And everybody else. It's great. It's available at places like Comics, etc., and from the Freak Productions website,
which I'll put a link to in the description down below.
Thank you. And I now do a podcast as well, believe it or not. So I've joined the plethora of podcasts out there, doing my own little show called Happy Daze, where we focus on all things happy, and look forward to an episode with this handsome devil soon.
Oh yeah, cool. So anyway, that's all we got to say about this movie. Make sure you go and see it. And yes, thank you again, Jesse. And I'll catch you on the next movie review. Because what's my thing that I say? Because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. Bye.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now. So what have you got to lose? Nyah.